Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Cars and Coffee with Kenny Brown Show. I am Cari, one of the co-hosts. Brad Grissom will be joining us shortly, but I'm really excited about today's show. We have Lance from Fox Body FX, and the show is going to be, if you're a Fox Body lover, this show is for you. So first of all, what we're going to start with, I'm going to share a little bit of memorabilia, Kenny Brown memorabilia, and then Brad's going to be talking about some of his internet finds. Then we're going to be doing our weekly sweepstakes, and I'll be telling you about that in just a moment. And then we will have Lance on, and you're really going to enjoy the interview we do with him. He has so many things to share, and he's such a Fox Body enthusiast. So we're looking forward to this show. Brad, why don't you join in for a minute? Are you there?
Yep, I am.
Hi. There's Brad.
Hey.
We're
How's
happy.
everyone doing?
So we have, it looks like we have Spoolin 272 with us. Looks like you are a Fox Body enthusiast. You're saying absolutely awesome. And we have Fred Francher. We love you, Fred Francher. Glad you joined us today. And we also have, we also have Fox Body FX in there. And yes, who is in the chat? Who is out there? So make sure you say hello to us today. And I am going to start with some memorabilia. But first, I want to tell you a little bit about the giveaway today. So let me put Lance on real quick. We'll give you a little quick peek here, Lance. So Lance has generously offered to help us out with our weekly giveaway. And Lance, do you want to show what we're giving away this week?
Absolutely. Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys are having a fantastic Saturday. And I absolutely am excited about being on. Thanks so much, Cari, Brad, everybody, Kenny Brown Performance. So giving away one of these hats. It is a Richardson Flex Fit, all right, Fox Body FX custom hat, as well as a hoodie. So I'm wearing the tan, and I also have navy. So if you guys are into hoodies, I got them. So we will give those away today. Thanks for being on the live.
So we are happy to have Lance. That was just a sneak peek at him, and he will be joining us in a little bit. So we are giving away the Fox Body FX hat and the hoodie. And all you need to do to be entered to win is put in the comments, if you're live with us, Fox Body FX, and the size of your hoodie that you would want to wear. So that's what we're asking you for. And we will see who gets that at the end of the show. Lance will be choosing the winner. Okay, so I want to show you, since we're doing a Fox Body show, I want to just share a little bit about Kenny Brown memorabilia with you. So Kenny started, if you can see behind me, that is the 86 Celine Mustang. Kenny started the program. Celine asked him in, I think, late 85 if he could engineer, build, and manage the Celine program. And that's what he did. And in 86, he started, and by 87, they had won 4 national championships in the Escort Endurance Series. And that is just phenomenal for any race team to start from scratch in one year, and by the next year, one just obliterated. And they were running against Porsches too. So that's really interesting, a Fox Body Mustang beating Porsche. So kind of take a look at that behind us. And I just found a couple magazine articles I wanted to share with you. So this is one, it's Excess Delight. And if you can see that, Brad, can you see that okay? And everybody, so this is the Kenny Brown Outlaw XS. And actually we're now building tribute cars similar to this. We don't just do convertibles, we hard tops as well. So, but anyway, this was his XS, and it says Kenny Brown's Outlaw XS is the highest performance brand new specialty Mustang sold on the planet. And if you're skeptical, just compare specifications to the other competitors. This is serious horsepower to challenge the supercars on planet Earth, which was philosophy behind this outrageous Mustang. In Kenny's words, the Mustang segment we're going after is supercars with the XS package. We developed an American supercar with world-class performance at a modest price. So again, that's one of the magazines, and for magazine buffs, this was in the Super Mustang, and the year is November 1992. I'll share one more little piece of memorabilia with you, and then we'll go on to Brad's finds. But right here is rocket ships built to order for sale. And this was another story. This was done in Mustang Illustrated's winter 1989. How many people put in the comments that remember Mustangs Illustrated or Super Mustang? Those are two old school magazines that are not in service anymore. And I just want to share this guy right here. This is what Kenny looked like back in 1989. So anyway, that's was an interesting piece. And I wanted to read something about the racing series. This was written in one of the magazines. It says, he's been racing cars for more than 20 of his 44 years, most recently Saleen Mustangs in the ENCORE Endurance Series. In '86, Brown was winding up a 3-year commitment with the U.S. March Sports 2000 program. That's an open wheel program, and was contracted to build racing program for Saleen. In 2 years, Kenny took the Saleen team from startup to a clean sweep of all 4 national championship categories, with Brown building the race endurance engines and setting up chassis. I'm going to stop there. I don't know if many of you know Kenny for the cars that he builds and his incredible handling suspensions that he engineers and builds. But he was, back in the day, he was an incredible engine builder. So he is very well-rounded. But back then, the Saleens captured 57% of the poles and won 71% of the races. And that is just, for hardcore enthusiasts and Saleen people, that is just phenomenal results. So I wanted to share that with you. And Brad, are you there?
I'm here. Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, we're going to start out with Brad's internet finds. We did this a few weeks ago, and it seemed to be very popular. Let us know in the comments if you like us to continue on with Brad's internet finds. He always finds some interesting things. And again, for the people that are just joining us, if you're new to our channel, this is the Kenny Brown Cars and Coffee show, and we have a guest, Lance from FoxbodyFX, and our weekly giveaway that we give away live is a Fox Body FX hat and a hoodie. So if you want to win that, in the comments, put your the comment Fox Body FX along with the size you would wear for the hoodie. Again, Fox Body FX and the size you would wear for the hoodie. Okay, Brad, are you ready to share some of your finds with us?
Well, I am, but first I wanted to say hello to a few people who have just joined the stream. You mentioned Fred Fancher. We have Krusty Notch Fox, who I think is a new viewer to the show. We've got a few people. Looks like we've got Bill Haney on. We've got looks like Brian West is on. Calvin Goring. Calvin used to work for us. It's always good to see him on. We've got Joe Johnson from Humble, Texas, who's on. Efren Gonzalez, who I believe is a new viewer for us. We've got Jay Myers, who is he's in snowy Buffalo. We've got T-Bird Boss. I'm not sure who that is. We have Rory Merck from British Columbia, Canada. He is a regular viewer with us. We also have Jack Sieber Jr. and we have Phil Jolly. So we've got a few people viewing right now. And for those of you who are new to the show, I want to remind you that if you're viewing us on Facebook, to please give us a like, or even better, give us a heart-shaped wrench. As we refer to it, Kenny affectionately referred to the heart as the heart-shaped wrench. If you're viewing on YouTube, be sure to give the video a like. That helps out tremendously. Also, if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please hit the subscribe button. After you do that, a little bell will appear. And if you ring that bell, then that enables you to get notifications every time, or get notified every time we load a new tech video up, or every time that we're going live on YouTube. So that will be kind of handy. And so I think I got through the housekeeping. I found
Well, just to go on, Fred Francher has an interesting little note here, and it kind of applies to our show, our Fox Body show. In the January Mustang Times, there's a Kenny Brown article in there, and I believe it is on the JPS Mustang that Kenny built. He built for racing, and it's a pretty interesting car and a pretty interesting read. Fred, just verify with us in the comments if it is on the JPS, Kenny Brown JPS Mustang.
Yes. So Donald Farr did write an article for Mustang Times. He's their senior editor, and I'm not sure if he met the owner at an event or the owner reached out to him. But yeah, so that is the original one of one Johnny Player special Mustang that Kenny built for a Ford dealership that I think was in
Kansas.
Kansas. Okay. Yeah. Couldn't remember the state, but that car was a great car, and it's still alive. I don't think it has the original livery on it.
Yes, it does. It does have the. I've talked to the gentleman, and it does. It's gorgeous, and again, it's just so appropriate that we're doing a Fox Body show. Again, I just announced this one.
Bob Jones with us as well.
Do we? It's his car.
Yeah, I thought you'd be excited about that. So,
yeah.
And we have Jorge R. from New Jersey on, Christopher Gullett. He's a new viewer as well. He says, "What's up, guys?"
Cool.
So if you're ready, I'll get into my internet finds. I don't have a lot for today, but I picked out 3 things that I thought would be interesting. One of which is a shameless plug for one of my other companies. But so the first thing that I wanted to show you was something that was sent to us from a viewer that I thought was kind of cool. This is a recent article that appeared in Auto Week magazine, and this hits kind of home to me for a couple of different reasons. The article is entitled "How a Meeting at the Streamline Hotel in 1947 Led to the Birth of NASCAR." And so the Streamline Hotel is in downtown Daytona Beach. It's right on A1A. It is a mid-century Art Deco hotel that was built years and years ago, and it's a hotel that was frequented by Bill France and several other NASCAR racers. And you can go to Auto Week. You can look for the story. The Streamline Hotel is owned by a old friend of mine, Eddie Hennessy. His family founded a large cosmetics company here in Daytona Beach years and years ago, and they've been actively involved in NASCAR ever since. But the story of the hotel is a really good one. It is, in fact, the birthplace of NASCAR. They filmed a movie there a couple of years ago. It's a beautiful hotel. It's got a really nice rooftop deck where they have a bar. They call it the Sky Lounge. And the story is just a great story. And if you ever come to Daytona Beach for the 24-hour race or for any of the NASCAR races, that is a destination that you must go to. There's lots of memorabilia from the early days of NASCAR inside the lobby of the hotel. They have a restaurant and a bar on the bottom floor. They've got old vintage motorcycles. Just lots and lots of history there. And then if you go up to the rooftop deck, it gives you a great view of Daytona Beach, both on the beach side and on the intercoastal side. And so just a really cool piece of history that's here in Daytona Beach. The hotel was renovated a few years ago. It's a first-class facility, and I strongly encourage everybody to if you're visiting Daytona Beach, to drop by and check it out. So I'll stop sharing that. The next thing that I have is, let's see. Oh, this is something that I ran across. I believe it was in Engine Labs. Let me share my screen here. Okay, yeah, so it was in Engine Labs, and this is one of their tech talks. They do these regularly. It says, why does a dyno graph always cross at 5252 RPMs or 5,252 RPMs? And so this is something that I had sort of forgotten about, and everybody can just go to enginelabs.com and you can check out the video from Greg Acosta. Greg Acosta is another good friend of ours who's been in the publishing industry for years, but it gives you a really cool explanation of horsepower and torque and how to calculate it and what 5,252 RPMs, why that number is relevant. And again, he gives you some formulas. He gives you the torque over time explanation, which I thought was pretty cool. This is a dyno graph of a Godzilla engine, I believe, that one of their team members has been working on, and so it's just some really cool information here on horsepower and how it's calculated. I also found a dyno graph that I was going to show. I can't find it now. That demonstrates a little bit better from a Porsche 911 engine. But anyway, if you guys want to go to Engine Labs, this article was just posted up this week. Actually, it was on January 5th, so it was last week. The video is about 6 minutes long, and it's pretty interesting piece. So strongly encourage everybody to check that out. Let's see. The last thing is because today we're talking about Fox bodies. I got an interesting call at the beginning of this week from our friends at Summit Racing, and we were talking about ignition systems for Fox Body Mustangs. And for those of you who don't know or don't follow the Fox Body world, ignition systems for Fox Body Mustangs are something that several years ago, there were several different manufacturers and variations of ignition systems for the Fox Body Mustang. Now the market has dwindled down to the point where there's really only one or two major players in that market. And the call that I got, the question was, why isn't Daytona Sensors manufacturing a plug-and-play ignition system for the Fox Body Mustang? The only company out there that currently offers anything is MSD. So I wanted to show you one of our products. Again, this is a shameless plug for Daytona Sensors, who is a sister company to JMS, which is my regular day job, I guess, for the lack of a better term. But I wanted to show you this. So this is the Daytona Sensors CD1 ignition. And so this would be the ignition system that would directly compare in many ways to the current MSD ignition system, which is what most people in the Fox Body market are forced to go with, because it's what all the major distribution channels are selling right now. But the Daytona Sensors ignition system, which basically does the same thing, is a really high quality American-made ignition box that is fully programmable. And so you can buy the kit with the ignition box and with the coil. Daytona Sensors also manufactures distributors for the Fox Body Mustang engine, as well as several other engines. And the cool thing about this, which is different than a lot of other ignition systems that are on the market or have been on the market, is, again, it is programmable. And I'll show you a couple of different images here. If you look at this one, it's got a general purpose input, but it also has secondary and tertiary inputs and outputs. And so there's several things that you can program into the ignition system that you can. It's not only an ignition system, but it is a data logger as well. And you can input vehicle speed, You can set up a burnout RPM limit. You can set up an RPM window switch on either the second or the third output. The RPM window switch could be for things like nitrous oxide. It could be for water meth injection. You can set your minimum RPM, your maximum RPM. You can set your nitrous delay in seconds. You can also use the second and third outputs separately. You can connect a shift light to this. You can control the shift light in multiple stages, gears 1 through 5. You can set a short shift window. So it's really cool features that they've added in here. This is just an example of timing a data log. Basically, you just plug this thing into your PC. You can download data. You can program it. This is a data log chart display. It's basically just RPM versus vehicle speed if you connect a vehicle speed sensor to it. And then it also lays everything out on the from the data log into a nice little chart that you can play with here as well. So this is an interesting product. A lot of people in the Fox Body market do not know about Daytona sensors. They've been around for years. They make the go-to ignition system for marine or offshore boat racing. Offshore boat racing is probably their biggest market. It's just a really, really cool product. So you can check out Daytona Sensors online, just Daytona-sensors.com or Daytona-sensors.com. And hopefully, maybe with Lance, who's our special guest today, with him building a new Fox Body, maybe we can hook him up with Daytona Sensors and they can do something together on that car. So anyway, those are my finds for the week. I hope everyone enjoyed them. Bill Wellman, thank you for joining us as well. Bill, I think, is if I'm not mistaken, he owns one of the original Kenny Brown Panther Crown Victoria cars. Carrie, you probably know him.
Yes, I do. Bill, welcome. We're so happy to have you here. And we are going to talk to Lance in just a moment here. We truly appreciate you joining us. If you're new to our channel, this is the Kenny Brown Cars and Coffee Show, and we do this weekly live every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We are simulcasting live on our YouTube channel, Kenny Brown Performance, and also on our two Facebook pages. One is Kenny Brown Performance, and the other one is our special Speed Therapy Society Facebook group. So join us there if you're not part of the Speed Therapy Society group. And it's the Kenny Brown Speed Therapy Society. So without further ado, I want to introduce Lance. And what we have here is, I wanted to let you know that if you can put in the comments and welcome Lance to our show. I don't think this is going to be the first show he's on because he's just such an exciting guy. But anyway, Lance has a huge passion for Fox Body Mustangs, along with a huge following on his Fox Body Instagram page. And he also does a weekly podcast on FoxbodyFX podcast. You can find him there, I think, on, what is that, Apple Network? Where else where are you on? Apple, Spotify?
All over the universe, Gary, everywhere.
Okay, so if you can't find,
I use the service and it goes out all over.
Okay.
Apple, Spotify, Google, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Amazon Music, all over the place. If you're into Mustangs, you need to listen. It's super fun.
Yeah, it is. He has just incredible guests on, and it's just always really good. It's a great podcast to listen to. But Lance, you have a really interesting story as far as how and why you started Fox Body FX, along with your passion for Fox Bodies. We sort of discovered each other, and you about 8 or 9 months ago, you graciously invited Brad on your podcast as a tribute to Kenny Brown right after he passed, and that was so nice of you to do that. But Lance, how did you get started in the hobby, and did you grow up around cars, or how did you get into this?
Yeah, absolutely. And before I even give that information, I want to say that somebody has to answer me in the chat. All right, on YouTube, I asked what song. And there's a famous Fox Body has the lyrics A1A. in it, because Brad mentioned in his finds A1A, and then the rest of that goes Beachfront Avenue. Somebody has to know that. So answer me in the chat. Okay. So anyways, thank you guys so much. Kenny Brown Performance, Cari and Brad, for having me on. I'm super excited about sharing with you guys today. And yeah, I grew up around it. I love cars. My dad bought a 1969 Jaguar XKE convertible before I was born. And so I've been around that car since forever. When I was, 3 or 4 years old, I have just a very, very small memory of this, but he took me to a dealership and said, hey, let's go buy a Jeep. So we went and bought a Jeep CJ7. And he said, pick out the color. And I picked red, of course. And that was actually my first car. My first car when I was 16 was a red Jeep Wrangler. And then my second car was a Mustang at 18. So I've always been into cars, always been around them. Anything that goes fast, four-wheelers, dirt bikes, just anything like that. So yeah, I absolutely love it. And, I really enjoy the passion that automotive enthusiasts share, especially within brands like within Ford and then within Mustang, and even more deep into the niche within the Fox Body world. You Fox Body guys out there are fantastic. You always do a great job at building community, sharing with one another, and very passionate about building these cars. So that's something that I share and really excited about. It's easy to make content when you have people like that that are that excited about it. And that's kind of where it came from. And, so the Fox Body FX, as far as the brand itself, is something that I came up with. And there we go. Jorge R. Vanilla Ice Baby. He answered in the text in the chat. Appreciate it, buddy. That's going to go a long way at winning something today. I can promise you that. I'm just kidding. No favoritism, but good answer. Anyways, so yeah, the podcast and all the content and everything is kind of, it just came out of something, Cari. So if that's what you want me to get into, I don't remember.
Definitely. I'm just curious because I haven't heard the whole story. I think it had something to do with a barn find. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
tell
that's
us
correct.
about the barn find.
And I should have brought a picture, but I'm going to send you guys after the live. Obviously, don't leave now, but go over and check it out on my YouTube channel, FoxbodyFX, or anywhere you like. I'm sure Brad has a link to stuff he could put in. He may have, it looks like he already did in the chat there. So anywhere that you grab and consume your content, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, or a podcast. You can go and see the car that started this journey for me, basically. So Fox Body FX, a buddy of mine, which a follower last year at PITS, which is, if you don't know what that is, it stands for Ponies in the Smokies. We were at the convention center. I was doing the podcast live, which was something that I enjoyed doing. And he named my buddy Brandon Shadow Brandon because he is typically in the shadows. He loves to do this stuff. And he's a Fox Body guy like me locally, but he doesn't like to be in front of the camera like I do. He's a little bit more like, let's be behind the scenes. And so Shadow Brandon and I came up with Fox Body FX because I found a 1989 Celine SSC, which if you don't know what that is, it is a super rare car because they only made it for 1 year and they only made 161 of them. And they're all basically identical. There are very minor differences on just a couple of special orders, but for the majority of 99% of them, all the same. They're all white with gray body molding, and then they have yellow and gray fading chevrons on the side where the Celine stripes are, and it says SSC in the stripe package. The interior is gray white with a yellow pinstriping, and just an amazing car that was in North Georgia, Cari. And it was about an hour and a half from my house. And what happened was I found it on Facebook Marketplace. And there's actually there's 2 different videos on my YouTube channel about this, but it's pretty neat because the car, I found it and it said Celine SSC for sale, a large price. And then they had a stock Google photography image results. Okay. So the guy that was selling it ended up going to Google instead of even taking his own pictures, doing a Google search, putting those like stock photos. So it looked really nice and everything. And I'm like, this just looks like a scam. But I was so interested with stuff like that. I was like, I'm a Celine fan. And so I said, I've got to continue to message this guy till he responds. So 35 or 40 messages later, the young guy finally responds to my message. I said, what time are you going to be home? When can I come see the car? He's like, I'll be home around 6. I said, I'll be there at 5:59. So I went up, I drove an hour and a half, brought my buddy Shadow Brandon and his rollback wrecker, and we drove up there and made the deal and brought the car home at night. And it was amazing. I couldn't believe it. I got there and it was real. I mean, the thing was in the barn, covered in a layer of dust. Under that was algae. This car had sat outside, Cari, for about 15 years, and then in the barn for 3 to 5 years after the original owner passed. He had given it to his grandson, and the grandson just had no idea what to do with it. They knew what it was, but they just had no idea where to start or what to do with this car. So that's basically where this happened. Picked it up, brought it home, and did a really cool like before and after washing the car, getting all that off of it, and it was pretty neat. Put that into a video and started posting, and posted on Facebook, and actually somebody else posted on Facebook, and that was a whole nother story, which I'll have to do in another time. But the story got around, and thousands of comments later, and a bunch of people basically knew this car. So the cool thing about it is this specific Saleen SSC sat on a highway called Highway 411 in North Georgia, almost the Tennessee line, not that far from the Tail of the Dragon. If many of you know Tail of the Dragon, it is a very famous road for over 300 turns in just a few miles. A lot of people go up there during pits and all during the year to ride their cars and drive all up on the mountains, and it's just an amazing road. So people would pass this car over and over every year, excuse me, year after year, day after day, and they would see it outside and say, why is a Saleen SSC sitting outside? Right? And people would wonder. So people started to stop, and they would say, hey, will you sell me this car? So after I got it, just right place, right time, always ready, got the car, hundreds of people literally started to message me. Hey, I tried to buy that car. Hey, I tried to buy that car. I tried to buy that car. I tried to buy that car every year. I would pass it for 10 years straight. I mean, people that just were, really belligerent about trying to buy this car, and no one could ever buy it. And I lucked out and ended up with it. And so one of the things I thought was just so unique was this car and the story of this particular car, not just the Saleen SSC. So I told Shadow Brandon, I said, man, we got to start something. I got to do this. And he's like, yeah, let's do something. And so we came up with FoxbodyFX. He helped me with a lot of that. And then I was like, look, this is just, it's too interesting to just put a post out there and have a little small social media presence. I said, I'm going to start a podcast because nobody's doing it. And I talked to another guy in the Fox Body influencer / content creator, whatever you want to call it, space at that time. And we started them on the same day. And I've been going a little over a year now doing the podcast. And to start out, Cari, I actually wanted to really just ramp up the content, and I was so excited about it. I did it every day. I did it every night at 7 to 8 o'clock at night, Monday through Friday, and until I got to 100 episodes. And then once I got there, I stopped, and I've changed it to I do it weekly. And so pretty much Wednesday, sometimes it's a Tuesday, but most of the time it's every Wednesday. You get a brand new episode, and it's people I interview from all over the world. I've interviewed people from Australia, Sweden, South America, Canada, all over the United States, all about Mustangs and Fox bodies. So it's I think great content. It's great to listen while you're driving to and from work, or maybe sitting at work and you got some downtime where you're just working on the computer, stick an AirPod in your ear and just listen.
That's awesome. What a great story. And I can't believe there's not many people that would do what you have done, from, your barn find and getting excited about it. And you're such an enthusiast to take it and do the podcast and the Instagram account. I'm just amazed at what you've been able to do in less than, a year now. I guess it's been about a year, correct? So
yeah, right at a year. And I had another one. I've got a few Mustangs, but I had another one. I had a 19. I still have, but I'd already owned a 91 Bimini Blue Coupe that I was in the process of doing a lot of stuff to. So, that obviously, I've had multiple Mustangs over my life, and always, had different ones, had other Saleens and stuff like that. So it was when it's just the story and the enthusiasm around this car. It just really got me excited even more. And I had some experience from doing some stuff in kind of a previous life. So I knew how to do social media. I knew how to do websites and all that kind of stuff. And so I said, look, let's just take this and absolutely, just roll with it. Just go.
That's great. And I think your Instagram, in a year, you've grown it to like 38,000 followers.
Yeah, like I said, it's funny because Instagram is a crazy place. It's one of my favorite social content worlds. just because of the things that they do and how you can share and do all that. But yeah, basically from nothing to I'm closing in on 39,000. I'll be at 40,000 followers, I hope, in the by the end of the month. So that's for me, I thought just an incredible feat. And again, 12 months time, but it's really possible, I think, because of the enthusiasm and passion, because of these Mustang guys, really, and girls that are out there. I mean, it's a passion like no other, an uninterrupted production since 1964, still to today, still rolling with gas engines, loving that. And honestly, the Fox Body platform that ran for the longest period at 14 years from 79 to 93 has, I would say, the largest cult following of any car out there, just about. So you couple it with that, and I invested some serious money to try to buy high quality equipment, these microphones, very nice cameras, and all kind of other stuff to put, let's say, how should I put this? To put enthusiasm that I had into the things that people could consume, because I looked out into the space and I said, it seems like everybody just puts a lot of effort and money and dollars into exotics and luxury and those type of cars, and the cars that I grew up with and the things that you guys love as well, if you're on here, these Mustangs, especially the Fox Bodies, just don't get enough high quality love. And so I really wanted to do high quality photography and videography. So I kind of learned it and taught myself and bought a lot of stuff. And over the last year, I've been to a lot of shows, a lot of Fox Body specific shows in different places, and done interviews with people in their cars and searched out some old historical things into the marketplace. And really, that's kind of the parameters of how I've grown it, because I do what people care about and what content they're interested in, and that's what I want to bring.
Yeah, and if you haven't visited any of his channels, you need to listen to his podcasts, and also follow his Instagram account and Facebook account, YouTube. I mean, you'll just, even if you're a Mustang enthusiast, not even just specifically Fox Body, he has incredible content out there and incredible photography, and you'll just thoroughly enjoy it. So make sure you follow him. And I have
thank you.
Yeah, and we have Jeff Jacoby out there that says that that Mecum in Florida on Wednesday this week had a special collection of Fox Body Mustangs. Was anybody able to watch that or see that? Be there in person? Make a comment in there if you were there. Thanks for that information, Jeff.
I will say that I did view, or have been viewing a lot of the Mecum auction, and so Jeff is correct in that there were a lot of really nice Fox Body Mustangs who've crossed the block this week. And it's amazing, the whole Fox Body resale market has just gone kind of crazy of recent. I'd be interested to hear some of Lance's thoughts on the Fox Body resale market and kind of where it's going. It seems to be in a bubble right now, and I don't know if it's reaching the peak and it's going to slowly trickle its way down in the coming years. But that whole resale market has just gone crazy. And Jeff Jacobucci, the person that made that comment, he is the owner of the very first short wheelbase Thunderbird that Kenny built with the help of Doug Killian, who's also a good friend of Lance's. Yep. He also owns the one and only Lincoln Continental short wheelbase car that was built by Doug as well. And before I forget, Jeff mentioned when we were talking about the Streamline Hotel in Daytona Beach, he also mentioned what's known as Racing's Fourth Turn, which is it's sort of right at the edge of South Daytona or Daytona Beach Shores and what we call Ponce Inlet. For those that don't know or who have been to Racing's North Turn before, that facility was damaged pretty heavily by the most recent hurricane that came through, and they have been closed now for at least a couple of months. And I'm sure that Jeff will be happy to know that they are about ready to reopen the restaurant. I don't know if it will be open in time for the 24 hours of Daytona, Jeff. But I would keep an eye on their Facebook page to see when their grand reopening date is. That's another really interesting place here in the Daytona Beach area that is packed full of memorabilia. And the reason why they call it Racing's North Turn is because that was in effect the north turn of the track several years ago. So thanks, Jeff, for mentioning that. And hopefully they're going to be open, Jeff, by the time you make it back in town, which should be in the next couple of weeks, I believe. The race is coming up, and Jeff goes to all of the IMSA races. He's an employee, I guess, for the lack of a better term. He can describe what his job is if he wants in the chat. And also, I wanted to mention that several people did get the answer to Lance's question of Vanilla Ice. I've seen several comments there, and we've also had several comments on the giveaway as well, Cari. So I'll let you move on, but I think the next question we had for Lance was with regards to the resale market.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm glad that you guys brought that up, because I'm actually putting together a video. So I'm going to do a live, not live, but a great amount of coverage. And I do have Matt with MPD down there actually today at Mecum Live. They are there, the MPD crew, and going to be doing some live footage for me to send. And then he and I and another gentleman that's kind of a Cobra enthusiast, that's had a lot of them over a long time, very, very well to do with the pricing and values. We are going to do a video after Mecum, so probably Sunday night. So we will do a video. It's going to be on my YouTube channel. I'm hoping Monday. I'm going to try my best to get that out quickly. We're going to go over all the cars and analyze the values and where we think those trends are heading and what Mecum is showing us for 2023 in the Fox Body world. And I think it's going to be cool because there were over 30. I believe it was 32 cars, Brad, that went through that were all Fox Bodies. And one of the most unique ones, there are a lot of really high numbered Cobras and stuff like that. But so far the most unique one that I've seen, was a coupe, a reef blue coupe, aka notchback, that sold for mid $20,000 with a rebuilt title.
Wow.
Exactly.
That's a great.
If people think that these prices are going down, I think that they have another thing coming. I think you're going to see it just like the muscle car era from the late 60s and early 70s. And I think as time goes, they're just going to continue to go up. They're not going to have the sharp spikes, I think, like we've seen in the last 18 to 24 months, but definitely some other stuff that's going to happen with them. And the limited stuff, the expensive things, the rarities, that kind of thing, they're obviously going to always hold their value. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. We're going to get into it really deep, and it'll be on our YouTube channel, FoxbodyFX, for you guys, hopefully Monday or Tuesday.
That sounds great. Make sure you tune into that. On the Fox Body, Kenny always had a way of course, this is not a big prediction. Everybody knew this would happen with Fox, but he could always predict trends. And he predicted this about 10 years ago. And he has such a passion for foxes. I'm sure he's really excited that we're doing this with you. But we have a number of new products coming out for foxes this year. One of them is Kenny's patented K-Link suspension. We'll talk about that probably in another episode once it's a little bit closer to sales and production date. The other thing I wanted to just mention real quickly before we have something we're going to share with you, a sneak peek at what Lance and Kenny Brown are doing together. But first, I wanted to remind you, if you're just joining us, we have our weekly giveaway. And let's see, Brad, why don't you put Lance back on full screen? And Lance, can you show off the hat and the hoodie that we're going to be giving away?
So the hat's on my head. I'm wearing a tan version, and I also have a navy. So both colors. Put Fox Body FX in the comment and your size, and you will be entered to win. We'll pick a winner before the end.
So how does that sound? So we'll do that. Also, if you have any questions for Lance, just make sure you put them in the chat, and he will answer them after we're finished going through this next little part. I'm very excited about this. We've been building a relationship with Lance over the last 6 months, and we have come up with something. Lance and Kenny Brown Performance have come up with something that we're going to be working on. Lance, you are you kind of approached us on building a Kenny Brown Fox Body, equipped Fox Body, and I thought that was a really good idea. First, tell us. So we are going to be doing that with you, but first, tell us about what Mustang base are you going to be using for that? What Mustang are you using?
Yeah, so I'm super excited about it, Cari and Brad. And just first off, thank you so much. I mean, it's been an awesome time getting to know both of you and some of your other folks there with Rich and some of the other crew. Great people, great products. I've known the name for a long time, and so yeah, I'm excited because it's a car that I really love. It's a '91 Fox Body notchback. And it's Bimini blue, which is a rare color. They only painted it from Ford for 2 years. And in '91, they only painted 106 coupes Bimini blue. So people are always after it. It's a very desirable color. Just had it repainted because when I got it, somebody had just done an exterior repaint of like a GSP two-tone. And it looked terrible. So had to go back and strip the entire thing, take it all apart, and do a complete repaint. Spent the money and did that right. And then it's got a new engine and a lot of stuff done to it. But it's the foundation, and talking to you guys and doing the right things to make this car a great street car and a great handling car for those days I want to get on the track or do some autocross. So I'm very excited about it.
That's exciting news, and we're happy to do this with you too. Your car's the goal is to get this car out on your event circuit this year. Where are you going to be this year? What events are you going to be at?
Oh my goodness, I'm trying to plan them all, but the first one that's coming up is actually going to be Ponies in the Smokies at the end of March. So we'll be on the inside there. We'll have a booth set up, and it's going to be pretty neat. We're going to have. I think last year they had 11 or 1,200 cars, all Mustangs from 64 through current. So if you have a Mustang of any kind, bring it, come out to pits. It's in Sevierville, Tennessee, an amazing show. It's about 4 or 5 days long. There's drift racing, drag racing, autocross, cruises to Tail of the Dragon. There's events daily. And then it's a 2-day full judged car show. And cruising on Saturday, and it's really nice. Probably 1,000+ Mustangs outside and about 200 or so inside. Lots of great vendors like you guys hopefully would be there. But it's an amazing place, and I think everybody would like it. And then definitely Foxtoberfest is an annual thing that's in October in North Carolina near Charlotte Motor Speedway. Motor City Fox Fest, that's another one this year I am definitely going to have to make. It's going to be a first show. It's at World Ford headquarters. For those of you that don't know about this show, on Instagram, it's Motor City Fox Fest. And Bill Butler, a close friend of mine, is putting this on. His dad worked for Ford as an engineer for over 40 years and retired. He has great connections there, and the show is going to be just amazing. Because it's on property at World Ford headquarters, they will be opening up what they call the Ford Vault, and they're going to be able to show us stuff that we have probably never seen before in person. So some cars that you guys might know is like the Roush car they built in 1989 that kind of gave a lot of cues to the 93 Cobra, which is in the Roush Museum. We'll probably be there. And some other things that I can't let all the secrets out, but you guys got to check it out. So go to Motor City Fox Fest and support them. That's going to be in Dearborn. And then, gosh, there's just so many others. I started last year and did an event out in California, actually, at the Vortex Supercharger facility. And I'd like to do that a second year. So that's something we're going to try to plan for September, called Cali Fox. And that has an Instagram page as well. It's called Cali Fox Show on Instagram. Gosh, there's probably some others I'm leaving out. I'd like to go to Carlisle this year. I went to the Chocolate Fox, which is an all Fox Body show, last year in Hershey, Pennsylvania. And then I would love to do an event or two with you guys, obviously, this year at a track. And I think you guys potentially have some stuff maybe working towards Willow Springs.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we have a number of things working, so we will let you all know that. We're going to do a few events this year, not back to our full event schedule yet, but I don't know if you know this, Lance. We typically, in many years, do like 26 events between the month of April and October, and then we have trade shows. And that's that's a really full schedule. So we will not be doing that this year, but we will be building back to maybe something similar to that. So I want to talk to everybody a little bit about what we're doing with Lance. So obviously Lance wants to build a Kenny Brown equipped Fox Mustang, and that includes not only how would Kenny build this Fox Mustang. So what we decided to do with Lance is put him through the full Kenny Brown experience that any customer has when they come to us and they want to build their own car or have us build a conversion car for them. And so, and then we're going to share it with his viewers as far as all the steps we go through and how every step that he's going to build it himself. So we'll have that in there. So anyway, the first place we're going to start is what's Kenny's #1 building philosophy. Start with the end in mind. And that's where we will start. And that's kind of what we do. We call it our 15-minute consultation, if you'd like. And that's where you can come in and ask Kenny, or Kenny's not here anymore, excuse me, ask the Kenny Brown team any question you want, if it's technical or whatever. And also if you're interested in putting together a build plan, because we're really good at taking what you want to know or where you want to go with your car and putting together a plan for you, individualized plan for you. So in other words, the 15-minute consult, we're going to go over, Lance, we're going to go over what you're planning to use your car for, what's your current driving experience, where are your driving ambitions, and your budget. So whether you just want to do street car performance or you want to go all out and build a race car, we can set out a build plan right for you. So this build plan is just, it's a pretty cool process. We do it for a lot of customers, and they either do it all at once or they take it and we have it set up in stages. So you'll go step 1, step 2, step 3. And I think that's how Lance is going to go through. We're going to start with step 1, and that's what he's going to do. That first step that Kenny always wants to do is chassis support. He has 5 foundational Lances. I don't think you've heard this yet, but you're going to find out very soon. Ken has a performance platform, and that's chassis, suspension, wheels, tires, and brakes. And how many of you out there already know this comment, that you know that Kenny's performance foundation is chassis, suspension, wheels, tires, and brakes. And that's before you even put any engine power into it. That's what he recommends. So we're going to take your Fox, and that's what we're going to start out with. So you'll see that through the build process, and then we'll be there while Lance is building the car. We're always there for our customers and obviously for Lance to answer questions and give guidance during the build. So anyway, so that's what we'll be doing. Lance will be starting that soon, and we'll let you know as soon as we get started on that. Just wanted to give you a sneak peek of that. Lance, do you have any comments on that?
Yeah, I'm just kind of overloaded, to be honest. Like, that is amazing. Like, for 15 minutes to go through all that is amazing. If I were you guys listening, obviously I would share that with any friends that might have, somebody that they're, care about that has a Mustang that, you hear them say stuff. I hear people all the time. People DM me constantly, or I interview someone on a podcast and I'll say, what's this, what's that? And they just, all of a sudden they just start throwing name brands out at people. It's like, I'm going to get this K member. I'm going to get these shocks. I'm going to get these coilover. I'm going to get these brakes. And it's just whatever people are talking about right now. And it's, instead of having a plan and doing those things, we talk about a lot on the podcast is having a plan when you do a build. And so it's very important and sticking to it, because as you all know, on social media, especially, if you put out your plan, if you say, hey, this is what I want to do, what do you guys think? That's the worst thing, in my opinion, you can do on social media, because you're opening up the floodgates of all the people just to either love it, hate it, bash it, and tell you 20 other things that you should be doing. So make a plan, stick to it, and having somebody like the expertise of this crew to give you a free 15-minute consult on how to do it and structure it, I think is just incredible.
Yeah, and Brad, if you can put up the 15-minute consult link in the comments, I would appreciate it. I just also wanted to add that the 15-minute consult isn't just for build plans. If you have a question about your car, if you're struggling with something, if you want to know something about a product, we're there to help you. Kenny trained us well, and we have a really good team of people that can help you through this process. And I don't think anybody else out there offers this. But yeah, Lance, we're really excited about this. And then also looks like Jorge says that he knows the sequence, the chassis, suspension, wheels, tires, and brakes. And he's also making his own Kenny Brown tribute cars. And Jorge, that is wonderful. And we have been working with you a little bit on that. So that's great. Looks like, of course, he also said, I was lucky to do my sessions with Kenny Brown, RIP. Yeah. Anybody that did a session with Kenny was just blown away that, first of all, that he would actually take time out of his busy schedule to talk to you. And second, that he was so down to earth and so knew so much about what was going on. So anyway, that's what we're going to be doing. And Brad, it looks like you're back on.
Yeah, we've got some comments. We still have our giveaway, which is ongoing. We'll probably have Lance pick a number between 1 and something to choose who the winner is this week. But we do have several comments that have come in. Calvin Goring says that he likes the classic Ford Motorsport fonts on the Fox Body FX banner, and I thought that was pretty cool myself. So that's awesome, Lance, that you had the thought to do that. Lots of people are commenting with song lyrics from Ice Ice Baby, which is
there you go.
Cool.
All my kids know all the lyrics. I have a 10, 12, and 17-year-old, 2 girls and a boy. They all know the complete lyrics of that song.
That's great. Jorge says that the Celine was the ultimate find. It was destiny. He saw the videos from the find, so obviously he's been following along. Jeff Jacobucci, he's got a true story. He says that he towed his Kenny Brown short wheelbase Thunderbird home to Colorado from Lincoln, Nebraska, using his 87 Fox Body LX on a 16-foot trailer back in 1991. So for those of you who don't know, the Fox Body Mustang was also a pretty good tow vehicle as well. Let's see, we've got some other cool comments. Jeff Jacobucci says that he's going to be in Daytona on Wednesday. He also clarified what his position is. He is a IMSA technical official employed part-time by NASCAR, and he also has some big news that Ford CEO Jim Farley, who is an avid racer himself, he races in the Vintage Series. He is going to be racing next weekend in the IMSA VP Challenge, driving a new Multimatic GT4 Mustang. So that is something that's really, really cool as well. Yeah. I did post up the link for the 15-minute consultation. So if anybody wants to take advantage of the free consult, be sure to follow that link, schedule a time, and Rich and Cari or myself, whoever's on the schedule, will be happy to have a chat with you, talk about your car, what your ambitions are, and help you put together a plan for that as well. Let's see, who else do we have here?
Hey, Brad, I didn't know this, but I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday that's quite knowledgeable about these cars, and he actually has quite a collection, about 30 cars. He had at one time upwards of 100, but he's kind of dwindled it down. But these cars he's got, I didn't know that you guys built this, but apparently there was about 3, I think, Kenny Brown Mercury Marauders.
There were actually, and Cari will have to chime in on this, I believe that we did a total of 10 Mercury Marauders in the first limited edition run, but we did some cars after that as well. So I don't know what the total count of Mercury Marauders is, but the first 10 were kind of a limited edition. They had a special carbon fiber inlets. Cari, why don't you tell us more about that?
Well, my memory, I'll have to, next show I'll have the number for you, but I think we built like 24. I'm thinking it's the number of those. We did the first 10 were the signature series, and then we did more. And then people, they still come to us and want to do, but we're not doing those anymore.
Yeah, he just said, "Hey, I have one." I was like, "Oh man, I didn't know they did those. That's really cool."
Yeah, they're awesome. And what I'm doing right now is I'm writing down all the people that have entered the weekly contest to win that Fox Body FX hat and the hoodie, and then. We also have a question. If you have any questions, put them in the comments for Lance and Brad. I think you have a comment, or Lance, a question that somebody gave you, Lance, that wanted us to answer on bare brakes. So Brad, do you have that question?
So real quick before Brad gets into that, I don't think we said this, but we have 2 items that we're doing a giveaway. We have a hat and a hoodie. Is one person getting both, or are we going to do 2 giveaways?
No, I think we're going to do 2 giveaways.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Spread the love. Spread the love.
Exactly. So, and that's what I'm working on. And I think we know who one of them is. And then what we're going to do is have you pick a number between 1 and something. I'll see how many people entered. And then that will be the person that wins the other item. And you can decide who wins what. So I'm going to go off for a minute and you guys keep chatting. And I will be back when I have the total and who's entered the contest.
A bad dad joke right now would be, I'll pick the number something.
So we do have, we've got, before I get to the question from Lance's viewer, we've got Christopher Haley. He says, I know Fox is the name of the game today, but do you offer a stainless brake hose kit for the rear of the SN95 car? The answer is yes, we do have a kit for the rear. I'm not sure if we have it on our website or not, but if you, Christopher, if you give us a call or send us a message, we will be happy to look up the part number and get you a price and availability on that. The next question was from, I'll butcher his name. It's Mike O_03. He had a question for Lance. He says, I replaced my entire brake system with Bear brakes, replaced everything you should and upgraded everything as it should be. I'm catching up, or I am catching so much noise from my front right brake and cannot figure out why. He's replaced the rotor with a new one from Bear. The noise stopped for like a week and ended up coming back. He has no clue what to do. He's taken it to several different shops and they don't know why. I don't have a good answer for that either. It could be an issue with a master cylinder. There's any number of things that could be, but it's possible that maybe the brake is hanging up a little bit and causing some noise as well. So I would check not only everything in the that you would normally think of in the brake system, but that could be a master cylinder issue as well. I'm not sure on that.
Okay, I'll message them back on Instagram and let them know, and then hopefully I know that they've got great customer service. I'm sure they'll make it right.
Yeah, and so we've got Rory says maybe instead of a SAC or SSC like Mustangs, a tag on Kenny's cars should be branded with CSWTB, like Tim just posted: chassis, suspension, wheels, tires, brakes.
I was actually just thinking about that. That'd be a great T-shirt design too. To have people ask, what does that stand for?
That's awesome. I like that.
So I didn't see any other questions that had come through, but I want to thank everybody because we do have lots of great comments today, and we've got lots of Speed Therapy Academy members who are joining us today as well. And I want to thank our Academy alumni members who are always on and always have great input for us as we go through the show. Calvin Goring says that he had a similar problem to the brake question that I couldn't answer. He says that it turned out to be a bent slide pin causing a slight caliper misalignment. So that's Calvin's a Fox Body guy. He probably has seen it all and done it all. So I would check to see maybe if you have a bent slide pin. That definitely could cause a problem. So thank you very much, Calvin, for
another good tip.
Pointing that out.
See, Brad, that's what I'm talking about. It's the Mustang community just showing out. I love it.
Yeah, no, it's great, and we've got some great viewers, and they are extremely knowledgeable. So thanks for posing the question, and again, check that out and see if maybe that's a problem. Rory from British Columbia, Canada, he's got a question for Lance. He wants to know, what number is your SSC?
It's number 85, Rory. Number 85, and you can barely see it actually on the front bumper where they had the little number sticker. It's from being outside for about 15 years, that south facing side of the sun, it really hit it good. So but it's there. So, and it's on the other plaques on the firewall, interior, those kind of things, and paperwork and all that good stuff, which is pretty neat. Like having all the original paperwork. You guys know they're into Mustangs, having all the documentation. I even have the original owner, I have his finance application. This was a John Bleakley Ford car too, which was pretty unique, and they were a huge dealer, a very important place to get these cars through. But he traded in an 87 GT, an 88 GT, and $15,000 in cash in 1990 to get this car.
Wow.
I know.
Wow. Incredible.
It's crazy. The difference.
Mm-hmm. Well, we have our numbers. You need to pick. We're going to give away 2. I know the one we're giving away, and you get to pick who we're going to give that enter the contest. It said Fox Body FX and their size. So we pick a number between 1 and 13.
All right. Well, yesterday was Friday the 13th, but I'm not a fan of that. So I'm going to go the opposite way, and I'm going to go 1. 1.
Calvin Goring. Oh, Calvin, you'll really appreciate it, because I know you are a Fox Body fan. So that is great. And then do you want him to have the hat or the hoodie?
If Calvin is still in the chat, maybe we even let him pick.
Okay, Calvin, you put in the chat what you would like. And then I think you kind of gave away who you're giving the other item to.
That's right. It's Jorge, correct?
Jorge, yep.
Jorge was the first one that I saw on YouTube comment section to get the question I proposed about the Vanilla Ice song. So Jorge, congratulations on your new Flex Fit Fox Body FX hat.
That is so cool. Yes, that is wonderful. And Jorge is a longtime listener of ours, so it's wonderful that he got that as well. And Calvin said, I can always use a hoodie. That is great. Yeah, so glad you got it. Welcome. And we are so happy you joined us today. And especially Lance, thank you for joining us. And we look forward to working on your Kenny Brown equipped build going forward.
I'm looking forward to it as well, very much. And Calvin, do you want tan or navy? And I'm not sure if he put in here a size or not. So if he can let us know, that would be great.
Okay. And we can always get a hold of Calvin. We know how to get a hold of him. But yeah. Okay, well, great. Congratulations on the winners. And Lance, again, we really appreciate the time that you took to tell us a little bit about your barn find and your enthusiasm for the Fox Body. And we look forward to working with you in the future. Brad, do you have anything else you want to add?
No, I don't. I just want to thank Lance for joining, and I look forward to having him on. I think that we want to have Lance on a monthly basis this year to talk about what's new and cool on the Fox Body market. Maybe we can have Lance do a special segment once a month on what cool Fox Body cars he's run across in his travels. I think that's something that people would genuinely be interested in. Do that on a regular basis. So
that sounds great.
I love it. I'm down. I'm down. Let's do it.
So I'll let you in on a little secret as far as who we're having on the 28th of January. We have scored Donnie from D&D Performance. He's a transmission expert in the industry, and we were going to have him on about a month or so ago, and we had some issues there, so we weren't able to get him on, but he will be on January 28th. We are also working on getting Donald Farr, editor-in-chief of Super Ford magazine, and now he's writing for MCA, and he's written for numerous other magazines. He's a great photographer, editor, and there it goes. Awesome. Yeah,
I had to have that episode. That's this issue because of the recent YouTube video I just did on the car on the cover. So
that's cool.
I had it sitting here when you said Super Ford.
That's perfect timing. And then we have some other people lined up as well. But just wanted to let you know who we have in store. We are live every other week. So we will. Kenny will be on next weekend playing one of it. Brad, I don't know if you know what he's talking about next weekend, but we play a previous video, and it's always informative, whatever he talks about. And then we will be live the following weekend and the 28th. So we look forward to seeing you then. Thanks for joining us today, and it's always wonderful doing this show. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Have a great day, everybody.
Bye-bye.